Assalamu alaikum and hello dear viewers. Power is necessary in international politics. For every state to achieve its goals, there should be some means to be employed. National interest is main thing in the course of action by any state. In the language of realism, power that can be a source or can be an end for a state. So that is very much necessary to achieve the goals set out in its foreign policy. Today, we'll talk about soft power and smart power used by the states, why these are necessary, and how these are used in international politics and in international relations. But if you have not subscribed my channel, please do subscribe it. Press the bell icon to be informed with my new interesting video uploads and share the link of this channel with your contacts and friends. Dear viewers, what is power? Power is the ability to achieve what you want by having course of action with others. If we talk in the perspective of states, so a state's capability and ability to achieve what it desires from other states. So that's why countries, they use various strategies, from that of dispute and initiating war to that of coercive diplomacy and threatening behavior. Hard power, it was very much predominant in the history of international politics and international relations. Hard power, it actually talks about the military capability, the military power, the use of force, attack, and even going to war. But there is now relatively a new concept that is called soft power. Especially the concept soft power has been popularized by a former American political scientist and professor of international politics, Joseph S. Nye, who was a Harvard professor, who was teaching in American Harvard University. He popularized it in the late 1980s, especially when he published a book that was called Bound to Lead: The Changing Nature of American Power. He talked about the various parameters of power. He also discussed the changing nature of American power, because that was the time when communism and socialism that was on collapse and the disintegration of the Soviet Union was very near. So that was the triumph of the liberal democracy and a way towards unipolarity in the world. He discussed about the nature of American power, about the various features of American foreign policy, and especially he advised for soft terms in using power to the American government. Later on, he also became Assistant Secretary of Defense in the Clinton administration in 1990s, and he wanted to convince the American government. He was little bit, we can say, successful in this way, that Clinton administration then used some means to achieve the American goals, not through hard power but rather through soft power. So what is soft power? Soft power is the ability of a state to achieve its goals, its agendas, not through hard power but rather to be co-opted, but through non-coercive means, through non-hard power. So all the means which excludes and which avoids the hard power, the use of force, the use of military, then we can call it as soft power. The term soft power was more popularized than in 2004 when Joseph S. Nye, he published another book by the name of Soft Power: The Means to Success in World Politics. Here, he also gave examples of the People's Republic of China, that how it was moving towards making its own soft image in the world, how it was moving to make Chinese narrative in the world. He advised the American government not to use hard power every time. So Joseph S. Nye, he says that the fall of the Berlin Wall, that is the story of both soft power and hard power. So when soft power and hard power, they combine with each other, then it is called smart power. In simple words, we can say that smart power is the combination of both hard power and soft power. So the end of communism, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the unification of both East Germany and West Germany, that is because of the result of smart power. I mean the use of both hard power and soft power. Joseph Sinai, he says that look, in the Cold War period, there was a competition between the USSR and the United States of America. They were rival states to one another. They competed in every sphere. They competed in conventional weapons, in nuclear weapons. So everywhere they were opposing each other views and ideologies. So they even fought wars, the proxy wars, not direct wars, in Africa, in Latin America, in Europe, in Asia, almost in every part of the world. So that was the use of the hard power. But later on, Joseph Sinai, he says that it was not the tanks, it was not the aeroplane, but that was only the hammers and the bulldozers, the stones which were responsible for the fall of Berlin. I mean that United States poured some ideas into the East Berliners and into the Germans of the East Germany and also of the Eastern Europe, the communist countries, that even they wanted to have this fall of the Berlin Wall. So it was made possible with the hammers, with the stones, and with the wishes of the people. So that was the soft power. So both the hard power and soft power made a way for the collapse of socialist regimes in Eastern and Central Europe and for the triumph and victory of the liberal democracy. Even when the current Chinese president Xi Jinping, when he became Secretary General of the Chinese Communist Party back in 2012, then he said that now there is an era and period for China to rise, and there should be peaceful rise. And he said we have to develop Chinese narrative and we have to use soft power of China. So look, China now is engaged with so many countries under the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, under the giving scholarships to the students of various countries in the world, especially to the developing and underdeveloped countries. China is biggest investor in the African continent. African countries, most of them, they have too much confidence in the Chinese leadership rather than the United States or any other else country in the world. So China is moving towards soft power to be used in international politics. Look that how China is making its way. So all the 14 points of Xi Jinping, it also endorses the concept of the soft power. Now in Chinese academies, in Chinese educational institutions and universities, they are promoting academically the idea and concept of soft power, that to realize to the world community that China's rise is not a threatening, but that is a peaceful rise. So soft power is very much necessary. By having the cultural diplomacy, now China is also very much involved in cultural diplomacy and people-to-people contact. It is developing. Always the Chinese leaders and policymakers, they talk about the win-win situation. So that is also to realize the world community that my profit is not your loss, or your profit, that is not my loss. So we both, if we do business, if we do trade, if we launch a project, so that is a win-win situation, that is for the advantage of both the parties. So China is also using another term, friendship. So every time if China signs an agreement with a state, or if it wants to develop its relationship, it says that we are friends. We believe in friendship. We don't believe in alliances. We don't believe in military capabilities, but rather on friendship, on cooperation. So that is also endorsing the concept of soft power. Even the the former Secretary of Defense of the United States, Robert Gates, he also envisioned the concept of soft power. He endorsed the concept used by Joseph S. Nye that now it is high time for the United States of America that we use soft power, and sometimes if it is necessary, then smart power can be used. In 2007, there was a big criticism on the Bush policy towards Iraq because George Bush, he used hard power. So then there was difficulty for Bush to just revive its image in the United States public and also in international public. So states, they use public diplomacy not only in its own country but in other countries to convince other people that we are not threatening but rather we are promoting cooperation. So the concept of soft power, it is now growing day by day. It is developing with new manifestations. Though many scholars and experts, they also criticize this concept because every time it can't achieve the national interest of a state, but most of the time it is very useful. And Joseph S. Nye, he says that nowadays it is necessary for a state to use both, hard power and soft power. He says that smart power is necessary, the combination of both to be used, and he also advises the United States. For example, Joseph S. Nye, he says that look, to combat terrorism, yes, it is necessary to use hard power, but on the other hand, the soft power utilization is also significant. Joseph S. Nye, he suggests to the United States that look, if the US wants to have a relationship and a positive and constructive linkage with the Muslim world, with the Muslim countries, then there should be combination of both hard power and smart power. That okay, if there is turbulence, if there is any threat to the American interest, then hard power can be used, especially in the case of terrorism. But to win the hearts and to gain the sympathies of the Muslim world, of the common people, then of course soft power utilization is also very much necessary. So sometimes hard power it works, sometimes soft power works, and sometimes smart power it works. Joseph S. Nye, he has talked on all these concepts of the power, but especially he endorses the concept of soft power and also sometimes the concept of smart power. Dear viewers, hope you like this video. For more videos, keep watching the channel. Take care.